like feels like we barely get ice now, but like
Mm-hmm.
growing up, we got ice every year.
It's true.
Freeze over, play some pom puck. We'd fight my friends. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
clanging and banging.
It was fun, man.
That's awesome, man. All right, everyone. We're here with Tyler Adams from the Duck Republic. We've been talking on social media a little bit. I ghosted you. I got to apologize.
It's all good.
It wasn't
dude.
intentional.
I'm used to it.
Well, I'm glad you stopped by, and I'm glad you're on today. So from Lax Bro to Duck Hunter,
Yeah.
tell us about the progression, how you got into hunting.
So it's fairly recent. I just started hunting maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Same.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, my cousin has been hunting his whole life, and he's like my hunting partner when it comes to ducks. I got him into ducks. He was all into turkey and whitetail forever, and I brought him into the duck blind one time, and he was hooked. And it was funny because I grew up in the South Shore, and my sister started dating a dude from Wareham who was a commercial fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
So I started commercial striper fishing when I was like 17. And that was back when there was like 15 fish limits for 4 days a week.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were like slaying them back when there was a vert jig bite off of Chatham,
Nice.
which was incredible. It was like 200-300 fleet of boats. Everybody's tight on like 40-pound stripers. That was, I don't know, like 10, 12 years ago now. And I did that for like almost 10 years, like turned into commercial tuna fishing and then chartering. And then I went out to Dutch Harbor and worked with a trawler out there like from November to March. So it was gnarly. That was the year the fishing vessel Destination went down. So they lost all souls. It was like 7 or 8 guys. And one of the dudes was from Arizona, where I was like, my mom had moved and my residency was in Arizona at the time. So the West Coast news was all like, 23-year-old dude died aboard fishing vessel at like blah blah blah. She didn't know. Like I just went out there on a whim. I had like $2 in my bank account, and I was told I thought I would like look like a stud if I got Bering Sea credentials, because in the Deadliest Catch they have the sweatshirt. It's like Bering Sea fisherman second to none.
Right,
It's
right.
Like, I want that.
Yeah.
So I was told by an old timer, don't go to Alaska, go to Seattle. Because if you go to Alaska, they'll think you're drunk and got kicked off the boat. But if you go to Seattle, you can knock on doors, like literally knock on boat doors at dry dock and like work your way onto a boat. And that's what I did. I met an old timer out there who was like 87, grew up in Dorchester and was a boat builder. And he's like, where are you from? I'm like, oh, south of Boston. He's like, East Coaster, you can come on. And he set me up with like what I didn't know at the time is a massive like conglomerate fishing like company, the O'Hara Corporation. They're out
Okay.
of Rockland, Maine.
Okay.
They started with like one boat. It's a family operation. Like now they're massive. And then they have like a transportation service in Boston called Araho, which is O'Hara backwards.
Oh, sure.
So they have like boats named that. It's a crazy company, but that was a whole crazy experience. Like, got frostbite during a blizzard. We blew out windows. Had to stop on the coast of Canada when we were going through the Bering Strait because we were hitting 20-foot rollers. Like, they were actually over 20 feet, but I don't want to be the hard ass who's like, oh yeah, 20-foot rollers. But there's a pit. There's like I don't know the term,
Yeah.
but there's a like a measuring thing in the engine room that tells you the pitch of the boat,
Okay.
and then that'll tell you the height of the wave. So I was like with the chief engineer on board, and he's like, oh man, these are big ones. And we smashed out 3 windows in the wheelhouse, like spidered them. They were like the new ones that like they melt the ice, and they cracked or whatever. So we stopped on the coast of Canada. Had to like put welded threaded rod to the side of the wheelhouse, and then like had to put wood over it, plexiglass, then wood.
How old were you when this was going down?
Oh man, how old was I? 22.
That's hardcore, man.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And I had uninsulated extra tufts at the time
Yeah.
that I brought from tuna fishing here, and it was like, it's kind of like you read about in a crazy story. It's like, sounds like I'm making it up. It was like 17 degrees, a blizzard, and we had to weld the rod, put the thing on, put the frame, put the plexiglass, do all this. And like it took like 3 or 4 hours. My foot froze. I went into the shower, like I grabbed all the tools, I threw them in the shop. He's like, you gotta organize. I'm like, no way, dude. Run to the bathroom. There's like a bar in the bathroom for you to grab when you're at sea. I grabbed on that and like turned the water on, and I put on hot water. Dude, my foot was like one of the most excruciating like pain in my
Did you
life.
lose any toes?
No, it's just like nerve damage. Like it was like blue and white, and so now when I duck out and my feet get cold, I'm like, no.
Yeah, my neighbor has frostbite, and she can't even go out early spring sometimes to like do the lawn and stuff.
Holy smokes! Yeah, it wasn't like it was bad, but I also like have had. Like, have you ever heard of like Raynaud syndrome?
Of course, yeah.
So like I had bouts of that in like high school or whatever, and I'd be like at like concerts and my feet would go numb, and I'm like,
your
what is
fingers
happening?
too, right? Like fingers get
Well,
cold.
I don't think I had the fingers thing. I might have had a couple like go numb on me, but not as bad as my
As the
feet.
feet?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So that was a little funky.
Sure. So mostly a background in fishing, then most recently into duck.
Yeah, so like I was obsessed with tuna fishing. I was like this. I literally was obsessed with tuna fishing. It was all I did. I had a company for like a period of time called Hang 'em, and then I just like kind of scratched it. I got it tattooed on me. Like I got unlucky on my arm with this hook from like dude, it was probably caught like my brother-in-law and I like a couple hundred giants. Which gives me some credibility when I say how big this fish was.
I would say.
But we had to release like a 130-inch bluefin, and I have videos of it. It's incredible. Like the dorsal fin looks like a yellowfin fin. It's like 2 to 3 feet long, and we got a rough measurement, so give or take like 10 inches.
So
like,
just for reference, what would be like an average size compared to what you caught?
well, honestly, there is no average size, but like when you're chasing those fish, they're always in like they are like scattered, but it's like classes. Like if there's a good class of fish, like 100+ inch fish, like those late season are going to be like 700, 800, 900 pounds. Early season, because we get bluefin from the Gulf of Mexico and the Mediterranean.
Okay.
And allegedly there's like a new breeding ground off the Carolinas, I believe. Because I was talking with like a paleologic biologist from the University of New Hampshire. Just because I was like so into bluefin, I wanted to know where they came from. Like, and then when we released this fish, I wanted to know how old it was. Because like I'd never seen one so big. Like I've seen guys catch granders and stuff, but this, in my obviously bias here, but like in my mind, new state record. Like never seen anything like it. And I've seen granders.
Monster.
Yeah, it was ginormous. And we pulled the hook. It hit a mackerel, like 6-inch like a tinker mackerel. It was in a pod of dolphins. And it was on a charter. It was a gentleman, his wife, and his 2 twin daughters that were like 12 years old. And they had been going out every year with like .com from the TV show.
Yep.
I think his name's Dave. And they got tunas, but they were shorts. He's like, I never caught a giant. And I'm like, oh man. So
Load 'em up.
It's just fate. Like this happened the day after we had spent 3 days and 2 nights drifting bait where this location was at the time, and it was very close to shore. Like the late season, there's a spot that's like on fire. Like there's one dude down in Chatham, Brett on the hindsight. He fishes the spot too. He's like next to us all the time. He has the Duro-Brite lights. It woke me up in the middle of the night when they caught a grander like the day before. We had one hit a bluefin hit a bluefish, and we lost it. It was like 2 a.m. Like peeled line, went under the boat, lost it. And that was the last day of commercial season. Next day we had a charter, so we went out. We were gonna try and catch a short. And hooked up to this thing. We had it next to the boat in like 40 minutes, which is incredible. The thing was like gassed. And at some point during the fight, the hook pulled and re-embedded itself in its gill plate. And so, like, if you've seen, like, these fish, like, their cheek meat isn't that tough.
Yeah.
The gill plates are incredibly tough. Like, you can throw a dart at them sometimes, and they'll just, like, ricochet.
Yeah, it looks like the
if it's
body
not,
of a
like,
car.
Yeah, it's hard stuff. And it, like, I got the photo of it, like, there's, like, an inch of space between the hook and where it, like, weared away. So we didn't have, like, a proper swim hook at the time. So we roped them through the mouth to try and revive them. And that's when we got our rough measurements, some photos, and I was just, like, flabbergasted. I was like, this is incredible. And
What did that family think about it?
dude, they were in shock. Yeah, like, the guy was, like... So what happens on a lot of charter trips, from my experience, is guys gas out, like, real fast when they're fighting them on 130s, which is what we do. A lot of guys now, like, chase, like, run and gun style, like, spin gear with stand-up, and I don't know how tough that is. I imagine it's hard, but there's guys who, when they're doing, like, in a rod holder, bent butt, 130, like, they'll gas out, they'll cramp up, their backs hurt, their arms hurt. Like, it was weird. It's kind of gone away now, but you can see here, there's, like, this 2-inch diameter muscle on my forearm elbow area from reeling in fish. It's because, like, when you grab the line, twist, and reel, you, like, develop this weird muscle.
Yeah.
So, like, I cramp up all the time because I was the mate on the boat, so I was basically in charge of, like, having a party. So
Sure.
I'm like, it's 7 a.m. Who's got some beers? Like, let's get it started. Like,
Yeah,
they
keep
don't
the
bite
customer
until we
happy.
get a buzz on, you know?
Yeah.
But it was fun, and I started doing tournaments, like the Oak Bluffs Blue Water Classic and stuff, and I have a friend who's very, like, he's awesome. He's very nice. He's older. He's done well in life. He, like, sponsors the tournaments, and, like, he hired us to come out and, like, be the mates and stuff.
Cool.
And then it turned into, dude, you don't even need to pay me. I just like being out here. Like, this is so much funner than working. And then I got a real job being a carpenter, and ditched the fishing, and during COVID found ducks. Started deer hunting, tried. Had this one buck in my backyard called Houdini.
Cool name.
Because he would come, and then once a year I'd see him in the backyard, then disappear.
Just like a rut buck just coming through.
Dude, not a clue. Wouldn't even know how to, like, decipher, like, his patterns or anything, because I don't know anything about deer hunting. I just was like, I can shoot it.
Right.
I can shoot a bow, like, 30 yards, like, in the circle. Like, sure. Tried it. He was out in the backyard one day. I threw on the camo, grabbed my bow, walked out, thinking, like, this is it. I started, like, creeping up on him.
Yeah.
And I'd say he's maybe, like, I don't know, like 50 yards away. And he's through the brush. It's, like, late, like, early season, so, like, everything is still, like, thick. And I cracked, like, a branch or whatever. He looked at me, like, blew, and just took off.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him that year. And then the following year, he got hit by a car.
How'd you figure that out?
My uncle, who's big into deer hunting, my uncle Rich, lives in the town, and his buddy who's a police officer. It was funny. At this point, I'm full-blown duck. Like, it's like 2 years later. I'm only into ducks. He hits me up and said, hey, you know that buck that was in your backyard? It was a big buck. It was like a 10-point buck. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like
this
a
is a
stud
big
buck.
buck.
Yeah,
Like, when
yeah.
I saw it, I was like, damn, that's big.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple big bucks while I'm duck hunting, and I'm like, holy smokes, like I get it, but
Yeah.
nah, I don't got the time.
Sure.
I got the time, but not the patience. And I'm loud. I like to talk. You know what I mean? I can't sit in a stand.
Because from what I hear, like, your day duck hunting can just be over in like this in some places, right? Depending
Yeah,
on
especially
the bag limits.
Massachusetts with the previous limits. Like, you'd shoot your true mallards and maybe get a black duck or a wood duck, and it wasn't incredibly hard to get 6 ducks, but with this year's new increase of 4 mallards, it should be some short hunts. Yeah, like, if you can get in the right spots, like if you're in the marsh with black ducks, you get 4 mallards and 2 blacks, you're done.
Cool.
Which,
So you could be done by 10 or whatever. In a good
yeah,
day.
I would say earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of them fly early.
Okay. Yeah. As you can tell, I know nothing about ducks.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm into. So To be honest, I'm not like, I'm still new, like I said, but I went, so 4 years of duck hunting, almost 5, in my mind is like, if the amount of time and effort and passion I put into it, it's like equivalent to like a bachelor's degree in duck hunting.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah,
to
it's
think
like,
about it.
People are like, you're so new. I'm like, dude, people are doctors after 7 years.
That's true.
It's like you're a master carpenter after like however many hours. Like,
But you seem like the kind of guy, like if you do something, like you immerse yourself in it full time,
I try,
which makes sense to your theory. You know, you pretty much got a master's in duck at this
So
point.
all my buddies kind of like tease me because I go through phases. Like, so I had the tuna phase. I had like a phase where I wrote poetry. I had a phase where, oh man, I hit the gym wicked hard for like ever wanted to be a bodybuilder. Yeah, I go through some phases, a painting phase. And then even my drinking goes through phases. It's like I'll go through like whiskey, and then I'll do wine, and then I'll do beer, and then I'll go sober, and then I'll start it all over.
Yeah.
But it's fun. When I drink is when I get all my ideas. Like,
Gets the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, like with my poetry and my painting, same thing, but now with outdoor stuff. Like I got the Ducks Ain't Dumb is my like go-to, like, because they ain't dumb. I just was drinking around a fire when I was with my boys after a bad hunt, and I'm like, dude, these ducks ain't dumb. I'm like, I gotta put that on a sticker. Like, and then I started learning Adobe Illustrator and like messing with it.
Once you get started with Adobe, there's no turning back.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of hours on YouTube. Like,
Yes, same.
But
Yeah.
I'm still not good at it. Like,
It's a cool logo.
yeah, I
gotta
had some
say.
help with a buddy who was actually like really good. And then Atlantic Flyway Assassins came to me like a couple weeks ago while I was drinking. I was like, that sounds sick.
It does sound badass.
I was like, I would love that. And it was funny. After I thought of it, I was like, oh, I'm kind of copying. Like, I don't know if you know the Mid Valley Mercenaries.
No.
They're another duck group out in like California.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different like style hunting than here. Obviously, it's like all lottery and like public refuges that like you get there at like 3 a.m. and like get like lottery tickets for per blind. Like, so like you draw like blinds and then like you boat out to them. I honestly don't know, but that's what like my interpretation is from what I've heard on like their podcasts and stuff is that's how it is. And I'm like, oh man, I'm glad we're not like that. Especially in Massachusetts, it's like I feel like that's a perfect place for somebody to make money. I'm like, please don't institute it here.
Yeah, they probably would. Hoping
yeah,
not.
Yeah, we'll keep that on the quiet.
So tell us about the Duck Republic. What is the Duck Republic?
So the Duck Republic is really just me and my cousin messing around. Like we post like tips and tricks. I have a new video series I started called Lessons Learned, where so being completely self-taught, I've gone through a lot of trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to just incorporate that into some short format films that are helpful to people who are just getting started like me. There's a ton of information out there, but it was like enjoyable for me to have my own voice, you know, like
Sure.
just let people know like what I went through, like what I found works, what doesn't work. And I'm non-biased. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Like I'll tell you if something sucks, like no doubt.
Right.
And
But you're passionate about duck hunting and you want people to be successful. it
Yeah,
sounds
and I
like.
want like the sport to grow because like I don't want it to die. Like I don't want like public land to become so hard to access, and like the more people hunt, the more people care about like the rules and the laws and like what impacts their ability to do it. So which helps me. Like I mean, there's no grandiose plan to this, you know? Like I just kind of want to like post videos of us having fun, shooting the shit, and duck hunting, man. It's fun. It's like it's a lot of fun compared to in my perception, like duck hunting, deer hunting, and turkey hunting. Like turkey hunting is fun too, but
Yeah, I love turkey hunting.
But I mean, you get like mallards in your face, man. This is like nothing like it.
I've seen videos and it just looks so much freaking fun.
Yeah, it is fun, especially like if like we have one blind. It's actually a family spot. It's public land, but like it's almost not because the way the boundaries are is like the farmer used to own it, and then it was like up in like taxes didn't get paid or something. I
Yep.
don't know the full story, but my family's been like hunting it. Like my extended family's been hunting it for like 20 years. And he told us, like, when we got into duck hunting, he's like, go check out this spot. It's sick. It's like a small creek that stays moving all year. So like late season in January when everything's frozen up or starting to freeze up,
Yep.
the water is just like almost warm. And I've gone out there and put millet and like wild rice seed and stuff. And dude, like last year we had one day where it was probably like 200-300 mallards at first light just dumping it. We didn't even call. Like we'd like do a little feed or whatever, like get their attention, and they just land.
You just had the right location. You know?
Yeah, they're there every year.
That's awesome.
So that's why I'm pumped about the 4 mallard limit, because like I want to get like a stack of green. And
Is that a daily bag or that's a season?
so the bags are it's daily, but there's possession limits,
Okay.
and I think it's triple the daily. So 6 ducks, so it's triple that in possession, which includes like your freezer.
Got
Like, I didn't know that. Like,
I heard about that through like the Meat Eater podcast, and somebody ran into that issue with walleye.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're like pretty protected, right? Walleye.
Yeah, but there was a guy who it was like the difference between a daily bag limit and a possession limit, and he had a freezer full, but he was catching his daily bag, but he
Yeah.
just had like a surplus. And I forget what the outcome of that story was, but it was the first time I had heard of that, and it reminded me of what you
I
were
don't
saying.
really know what goes into an EPO, like, because I know they have jurisdiction and probably the right to like go to your freezer if they see you hunting. They're like, "What? How many do you have at home?"
I think if there's like enough suspicion, probably.
Yeah. Massachusetts is weird. I don't want to like diss any EPOs, but like, I feel like enforcement is lacking. Like, if you just look at the canal, like the canal
Did you
fishery.
see that dude with the trunk full?
Yeah. I think
What
everyone
happened to
saw
that guy?
video. Probably nothing, dude. I mean, maybe like a fine, slap on the wrist. I don't know, dude. It's crazy. Like these.
That was
like,
appalling.
It was. It was terrible. But like, dude, they're there every night, all day, every night. Like they're just there. Like, and to EP's credit, I have seen an undercover EP at the canal, like watching. But it's like they're not hiding it. So like, how is it not being like strictly enforced? You know, like I haven't. I don't know. I'm like outside looking in. You know, I have an opinion, but I don't know what they're actually up to. They probably are ticketing the hell out of them. But if you are arresting people and like punishing the crime, there shouldn't be as many people continuously doing it.
True. I've had good experiences with EPOs. I try to like use more of like a preventative approach. Like if I have a question about like a management area, or like if it is like on OnX something might pop up is huntable, but then
Yeah.
you go there and it's like no hunting. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, tell me and they're so cool about it. They're like, oh, I know a guy who lives 3 blocks from there. You know, he's an EPO. Like I'll get him on the phone with you. I've had good experience, but I think sometimes with the law enforcement, there's only so much they can share publicly.
Yeah.
Especially if they're
you're right.
prosecuting somebody.
They have. I do agree. I have called them with questions, and they've been wicked helpful.
Yeah.
But
So when does duck season open up?
October 14th.
And it goes all the way to January?
There's a split. There's a 2-week split. But yeah, it's like, and every zone's different.
Uh-huh.
So like, I'm not familiar with like the central. Like, I'm in central zone, but I hunt coastal as well. But I have to see like the abstract to like remember everything. I just
Sure.
like
There's
have
so-
it.
so many
I just have
bylaws.
reminders.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year is gonna be rough for me because opening day of duck season, I'm taking the fire exam. So I'm a union carpenter now, but I hate being in the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try and join a fire department so I can get the 224s and
Sure.
hunt
Yep.
or fish or whatever.
I know a lot of outdoorsmen who do
Everybody here, I've been meeting a ton of
like, oh, I'm an
firefighters.
EMT, yeah.
I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
this is what I need,
that. Yeah.
man.
My
But,
friend Keith does that. He's a EMT.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he just does his 224s, and then he's hunting
I
while
mean,
we're all
it's
at work.
such a perfect setup for dudes who want to hunt.
It is nice.
I mean, 24 hours on with interruption, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm sure it's not an easy job.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying I want to do it so that I can do this and like it would be hunky dory. I know there's like downfalls to it. Like, you see a lot of grim stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and in the society now, you see a lot of like a buddy of mine who's a firefighter. He's basically just on Narcan calls like all night.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah. So it's like
Where do you work in Boston?
all over. The Seaport's blowing up,
Mhm.
so we're there a lot. Right now, I'm in the Seaport.
Gotcha.
And I was in Cambridge this week. I do like offices, so like we like commercial offices. We build out like the cabinets, do the glass walls, the tracks and stuff.
Only reason I ask, I work in Boston too, so. I was
Oh,
like,
do you?
Yeah.
What do you do
in
for
the
work?
South End?
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I work in the psych hospital down there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I could use some help there, probably. I'm surprised I haven't been admitted.
Our joke is that you just want to make sure that if you're on the unit, you have keys. That's our running joke on the unit.
Keys?
Yeah, because
To get out?
if you don't have keys and you're on the psych unit, it means.
I
you
get
know.
it. Yeah, yeah.
But
No,
no,
I'm pretty.
our
yeah.
patients are great. and-
Meow,
yeah,
right over my head.
It's all good. But no, I love the field. But I just had to ask because there's a bunch of construction union jobs.
Yeah,
near
I'm a
where I
union
work.
carpenter.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's.
It would have been
endless.
funny if we were crossing paths every morning, you know.
South End.
Yeah, like Albany, Mass Ave.
Oh yeah, Mass Ave, like BMC and
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
there 2 days ago.
All right, man. Give me a shout out next time.
I will. Hey yo.
All right, Tyler. Anything else you want to plug about Duck Republic, or anything you're excited about, or any like conservation or advocacy stuff people should know about related to ducks?
I mean, I am like a big advocate for Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl. Like those dudes are awesome. Like supporting those guys, they're like some of the only ones who really like are diehard with conservation.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, man, I like promoting like other people I love. Like they're all like pretty big in the industry, but like when I go home and I just kick back and crack a beer and watch like YouTube, which is all I watch, the Daybreak Outdoors guys have like the coolest videos ever. Chef Jean-Pierre whatever.
Yeah.
With duck camp dinners, and then
Mhm.
he just started one with First Light doing timber tours.
That's great.
Dude, those
I got some of
videos
those.
are like, that's what I just want to like move to Arkansas right now and like go work for the dude in the coffee shop at the last one and like slay some ducks, man. That's a dream right there.
Yes, it is.
But nah, other than that, I just appreciate you letting me stop by, say what's up. It's been cool. It's a nice break from the booth because it's been busy. Like
Yes.
yesterday, like was slammed.
It's a
to
good
me,
sign
and
for
then-
Huntstock, man.
Yeah, no, this place is sweet.
Did we talk about Huntstock yet?
No,
How freaking amazing.
awesome.
It's going to be the running theme on
There
all
it
these.
is.
Hey, there's Pat.
It's
It's going to be the running theme here, man, but
It's sick, man. I didn't even get to like check it out yet because I've been so swamped at the booth. Like I'm not selling nothing, like besides T-shirts.
Right.
Like, and so all we do is just talk to people.
Right.
And like brag about stories. Like they tell me some crazy story, I tell them. Like
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
And I brought the sneak box. I got the
Sick.
1969 Barnegat Bay sneak box. I finally finished.
It's
and
sick.
Everybody's been. It's an eye catcher, head turner, and we shoot the shit and. Yeah, we got some raffles going on and some free ones, and Rig 'em Right. Shout out to Rig 'em Right and Mojo. They donated some stuff for me to raffle off, and then that money's gonna go towards paying for camping, and I'm gonna buy some duck stamps and
Right on.
donate those to another Intro to Waterfowl seminar down in Middleborough. That's this dude Tim down there with Silver City Outdoors.
Heard of them.
Yeah, nasty goose hunter. I went like last year and learned more in like that 3-hour seminar than I had in like 2 years. I was like, what the heck, dude? I'm like,
Yeah.
because like everything he says is like, if you just listen, it's like valuable. Like every sentence is like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, because he's been doing it for so long. It's like, I've learned lessons in 3 years. This dude's been doing it for how long?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. I don't want to take up your whole time.
No, you're
but-
fine, man. Hey, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course, bro. Appreciate it.
Likewise. All right, that's Tyler Adams from the Duck Republic.
Peace out.
You can find him at the Duck Republic on Insta. Thank you.